Welcome back, listener. How are you doing today? I'm glad you had a good week. As you see, we're on video now. I thought for our sighted listeners of Aaron's Opinion, I would give more of a realistic impression so that you can see me on YouTube here in these basically a to simulate a real conversation that we're having. But before we get to that, let me just still remind you that Aaron's Opinion is copywritten by Aaron Richmond and Aaron's Opinion. Thank you. This podcast can be heard in many places, and if you have questions about where you can hear Aaron's opinion, please reach out to me because I have done some construction work and a little redesign, a little refurbishing of my podcast, to say the very least. So this episode, the podcast version of this episode, will be pasted in the comments of the video right here on YouTube. Um, Today we are dealing with a very serious topic that I hear about, and Danny, I hear about this far too often in the blindness community, as I'm sure you are starting to hear about. It's the issue of discrimination. Danny joins us now, and about a couple months ago, I was watching her live. She was talking about how she was working for Company X. Now, it is critical that I go back and tell you, and we set the history right here, that Danny is someone who was born sighted and grew up sighted and became an adult sighted. And as a sighted person, Danny became a massage therapist and was working for Company X. And she has recently, or it seems like recently, lost her vision and became blind, like many of us. And she has a lot that she would like to get through today in her story. So why don't you go ahead and tell us your story and everything that happened. And of course, you can keep all of the names anonymous, but I really want to give you, starting now, the chance for you to educate the whole world on this entire situation. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think it would be only appropriate that I address things from when I was a child, because I think it'll play into a little bit more of the story and why all of this has come to be. So when I was born sighted, had no problem. But around age 8 or 9, I started having some issues. I had gone to eye doctors, and roughly around 15 or 16, I was blacking out in both of my eyes, and they had recommended that I go and see a retina specialist at that time. I had gone to a retina specialist. They had done a bunch of crazy eye exams, which I'm sure you're actually familiar with, huh, Aaron? All these crazy eye exams that we have. And when they did this eye exam, they ended up finding out that I had macular degeneration. And at the time, that's all they pretty much told me. And they told me as well that I would probably become blind as I was an adult later in adulthood. So I thought in the back of my head, they said it wouldn't be for a while. I'm sure I'm going to be just fine. So now fast forward to last year. Okay, I had gone to eye doctors frequently. Every 4 or 5 months I would go in, and my prescription would get worse and worse and worse. And so then I started seeing a retina specialist, and ultimately I had a full macula detachment in my right eye last year. And unfortunately, my right eye was my good eye in the grand scheme of both of my eyes when I was a sighted person. So it ended up leaving me with a left eye that does not see very well, and a right eye that doesn't even register when I go to the specialists. So now, since last year, I had a full macula detachment, and they re-diagnosed me, which what I have is I am pathologically myopic, which causes my macular degenerative disease. But I also have cataracts in my left eye. And during all of this stuff happening, I became employed through Company X, and they were super thrilled to have me working for them because I was a hardcore massage therapist. I would probably massage, 7, 8, 9 people in a day, lots of money flowing in, no problem at all. I mean, I drove everywhere. I was doing house calls. So I was really booming. And after about 6 months of me working for Company X, I had the macula detachment, which ultimately put me in a situation where I had to have surgery, and I had a scleral buckle, which is one of the most aggressive surgeries that you can have for your eye, apparently, is what I've been told. After that surgery, they told me they didn't know if I was going to be able to drive again. And they always want to give you like an upside. They're like, let's just give it time. Let's give it time. And time passed. My eyes never cooperated. And I do believe it was because I didn't go in and have it checked as soon as I probably should have for the macula problem. But at that point, I was so used to my eyes doing strange stuff that I didn't even think about it. After my surgery, though, I was told by Company X that if I didn't come back, that they were going to fill my spot, fill my whatever was available for me to be working schedule wise. Now, my doctors, my eye specialist had told me, you are not supposed to go back to work before 6 weeks. You are not allowed to lean over. You're not allowed to lift anything larger than 20 pounds. I had a very strict regimen that I was supposed to follow. But because I have to make money, I was not prepared for me to have a surgery like this. I was not prepared for me to suddenly go from being able to drive to now I can't do anything in regards to driving. I have photophobia, so that contrast issues are a really big play in my vision and how I see, because if the lighting isn't right, I can't see. So when I went back to work, I actually went back to work at 4 weeks because I felt the pressure of needing to go back or I wasn't going to have a job. So I went back, and during that period of me going back, I was realizing that as I was working, my eyes and my head, my body could not physically handle the strenuous work from coming out of a surgery like that, which is probably why they had recommended me not to go back to work before, 6-7 weeks, whatever it was. But I had gone back early to save myself from losing my job. And when I went back, I noticed that I couldn't perform the way that I used to. And I was starting to get migraines. I was starting to have some really deep eye pain. So I had to tell Company X, listen, I know I came back earlier than what I was supposed to. I have to reduce my work hours for the time being because I can't work past 2 o'clock or I start to get eye problems with the leaning over. So Company X said, okay, we'll do that. And you let me know when you want me to open you back up and we'll send more people your way. So time passed, and it was probably around December of last year. And I brought to Company X's attention, I said, I would like for you to send people my way. I still need to keep my hours a little bit restricted to make sure that I'm not putting too much strain. However, please send more people my way. I'm ready. I feel really good about working, so please send them my way. Transferring over into January, the pandemic was starting apparently to come around, and she, the Company X, was still not sending clients my way like she had said that she would. I had several talks with Company X, probably 2 or 3 talks about, please send clients my way. I'm capable of working. I need to be working. I'm not making enough money. And when the pandemic hit, we were all out of work. Nobody could work from, I think it was like March, April, May. And we didn't go back, I think, until maybe mid-May or June. And before we had gone back, she had us sign a new commission statement stating that if we did not, ultimately, if we don't sign this, then you're not going to get paid. You're not allowed to come back to work. So during a pandemic, she decided to reduce our commissions, including mine. And I was only making 30% commission on a service that is $90. Okay. And I'm doing my best to do as many massages as I can, but no matter what, she's still not sending people to me. And I go back to work and I start hearing, okay, this is where the discrimination piece comes in. I go back to work and
by the way, just for the record, let's clarify, everything that you have explained up until this point is highly it's not your fault, not your fault, but highly inappropriate, definitely discriminatory, and absolutely not okay. So
yes.
Okay, so continue. So the
Yeah,
discrimination continues.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, so this is where at this point, this is where things are starting to get uncomfortable for me, um in regards to, I'm a very energetic and therapeutic person. I do massage therapy for a living. We're actually in my massage therapy room now. This is where I work from home. But so for me, it's hard for me to be in a place where I feel negative energy and I know about it. It's one thing to just hear about it, but when you actually hear it, when you personally hear it, it changes. And I was starting to hear conversations coming from Company X, the person who ran the company, talking about how they didn't really think I was blind. Pretty much I wasn't blind enough for that. Like I didn't
Yeah,
fit.
I get. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I did
And
not.
listeners to the program understand you, right? Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I did not fit apparently their image of what somebody who is now legally blind within the blind community, whatever it is
Mm-hmm.
that you personally identify as. I found them talking about, I don't really think she's blind. She was able to, catch a pair of car keys. So then she definitely can't be legally blind. She was just, and also just talking about me in a way of being disrespectful, though just demeaning, saying that, I don't really know how to do my job anymore, and that I'm giving terrible massages, and then calling my clients, and telling them and complaining and saying that no matter how much she's tried to train me, I'm incompetent and am untrainable since losing my vision. All of these things that have just kind of slowly come into like this ball of negative energy here, talking to her and having a good interaction with her, like what you would think would be just a healthy conversation, and then I step
Right.
out of the room.
Or what should
What
be a
should
health.
be totally what should be a healthy conversation, and then me stepping out of the room, shutting the door, and hearing her with my own ears say that I personally drive her crazy and she can't stand me. So and none of these things that were said about me, or any type of negative discussion, was never said about me before I became legally blind. And I heard her, it was a complete accident. You know how when you drop your phone and you hit a button and stuff just starts going? My phone recorded in my
Mhm.
purse in the conference room, and while I was away, I ended up catching her on recording saying that she
No,
was thinking about.
okay, right here, right here. Okay,
Yes,
we just need to clarify little points as you go on. So
yes,
when the phone was recording, and
yes,
I completely support your side of the story, 1,000%, thousand times
yeah,
over. I support what you're saying. But
100.
did you push the record button on purpose, or was it an act?
No, it was a complete accident.
Well, good.
So
Well, it was a good accident, but
I know I've since then deleted the recording, and Company X knows about the recording because I wanted to be transparent in everything.
right.
So, but
It's just
when
it is a little suspicious if things are tense, in a
it
workplace,
is
and then they come
100%.
back and they find a recording on Danny's phone that's yeah. I mean, I believe your side of the story. It was an accident,
Yes.
but I can also believe that that would be unbelievable from an employment perspective. They would have a hard time understanding how that's an accident given the
Right.
history. Yeah.
Right, 100%. And it's important, I think, to address that this company is also doing a lot of stuff that is are violations. And I don't necessarily need to get too in depth about it, but Company X has been recording conversations of employees against their without their knowledge,
Hmm.
dropping in on Alexas, eavesdropping on conversations in the room, also being
Wait a minute.
discriminated. Go
Okay.
ahead.
All right. Whoa, whoa. I
You're
gotta tell you this company X. So if you're blind and in the audience, this company X sounds like a horrible place to work if you're a blind massage therapist. I gotta tell you.
awful. Awful. I'm probably one of the worst.
This sounds like, I mean, I'm glad we're on YouTube because like this like reminds me of one of those horror films on YouTube. You know, I'm into that horror content where people tell scary stories. Well, this is
Yeah,
a real story, but this is starting to get scary. I
it's
mean,
creepy. It
this is,
is.
and I'm not gonna like, and I don't mean to creep you out or anything, but in the blindness community, as you know, being a massage therapist, it's kind of cringy. It's a little cringy and a little creepy that you were trained as a massage therapist and then became blind.
Yeah.
So the material here is, whew,
Yes.
we're getting some material out of this. I
I.
mean, this is. I mean, I believe this is really strange behavior.
It is.
And so by spying through their Alexas, do you mean that there were Alexas basically bugged in the office, or that
Yes.
and you don't need to tell me on the air, on the recording, did you maybe file a report to some agency externally about that?
You know, I'm one of those people that I don't like to get involved in some. Once I
Sure.
leave a situation, I just want to leave. I'm very
That's
good about
fair.
just keeping my energy secure. However, I will say that there are other employees who have since then been let go
Hmm.
that are for actually it's in regards to me, believe it or not. And if we can touch base on that later if you'd like,
Go for it.
um
Yeah.
um but they have been let go, and their people in their family are livid enough that I believe that karma will more so take care of itself.
Oh, that's I
I don't want
believe.
to have any.
Oh, I believe.
Yeah.
No, I believe in, and you know what? I've said it before on the program for over a year. I strongly believe in karma, which is a very good reason why you should not report this. But then again, it is a. I mean, it sounds like this was like a workplace, right? And was this like? I mean, this is really getting strange. This is really. I've talked to a lot of blind people around the world. Whoa, this interview is
Yeah.
starting. This is starting to get really creepy. I mean, was this? Is this like? Or was it like a was it a real massage? Forgive me for saying this out loud, but was
Yeah.
it like
Yeah.
was it like a real was it a legitimate at one point was it a legitimate legal uh spa? That's the word. Was it a legal
um
spa at one point?
You know, okay, so this facility was originally a one person studio, like a little like one stop shop, and then she expanded, and I do believe she was 100% illegal, legal, truly at one point. I really do, but I think what may have ended up happening is, and I say this with respect because I want to keep her life, private. I think that when you dig yourself so deep,
Yeah.
you eventually get so afraid of people finding out your truth that you would do everything in your power to be one step ahead just in case someone does. And I think that's where the recording and the
Okay.
um, eavesdropping and
You
the
know, and then I mean,
videotaping
right,
came
right.
in.
Oh, sure, sure. And I mean, for me, and I can stress right here the importance of me filling you in a little bit on my background. So I've been blind my since birth, 7 cornea transplants, some usable vision. Now I'm 29 years old. I'm a teacher working online, teaching for Company X, and I got into podcasting about a year, and things have kind of expanded out. And for me,
Mhm.
podcasting, it's just a really fun hobby. It's a really fun activity for me. It's a really rewarding activity to be able to give other blind people the chance to educate others and to tell their stories. It's like writing a
Yeah.
book. So that's why I'm doing this. In case you wondered,
Yeah.
it's important to note that I am not a lawyer. I did not go to law school. So I'm not able to give legal advice. However, my lawful opinion, I suppose, or my knowledgeable opinion would be
Yeah.
um, that it's kind it's like if you go to a meeting and party X or company X, they come with a lot of attorneys and then come with a lot of lawyers, and let's say
Hmm.
I'm the judge, and then I see Danny, this blind woman comes in, she doesn't bring a lawyer. Well, in that case, and people start telling their stories, company X tells their story, they have their lawyer talk for them, but then I hear you and you don't bring your lawyer. If I'm a judge, who am I going to believe? Who do you think I'm going to believe? It's a very clear answer for a very philosophical reason.
Yeah.
Right, but who would I believe? Who do you think?
I mean, I guess my thought would be I guess I would personally believe the person who is disabled.
Well, you believe, well, it's not about it, unfortunately, but it's not about the disability issue. It's about the fact
Yeah.
that I would believe you because you are not being defensive, you see.
Oh yeah, no, truly. Yeah.
So the fact that she started recording is showing others that she's insecure and is pointing out the fact that she has to be defensive, you know.
Yes.
That's what it's
Yes.
all about, and that's why it's crystal clear to me that I would hope that someone who works for that agency or was let go reached out to an employment lawyer and said, look, you need to fill out some forms and we need to get an investigation because this is, I mean, obviously
Yeah.
something's going on, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yes.
So
100%.
okay. So then in the end, when and this podcast is explicit, so I basically speak my mind when I need to. So
Yeah.
after this ass, because that's what you call someone who acts like this, the English word is ass. After this ass did all this, well, hey, you know what, an ass is an ass, and
Yeah.
an ass is an ass is an ass, and karma's a bitch, and it really does show. And the fact that you came today to tell your story that shows me how much you have been victimized, and it shows me how much you're innocent. And who knows, probably a good massage therapist, I don't know. That's not really my generation. I don't really do, doesn't personal, we don't really do massages where I'm from, but
Oh,
you know but
yeah.
I this is a very, very important conversation on the channel, because I'm very afraid. The thing that scares me more than your story is the fact that I think that this type of thing is happening to a lot of blind people in a lot of jobs
Yeah.
constantly, and I'm not even hearing about it, and they aren't even coming to me to record an interview to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I mean, so basic so after this ass fired you, then what from there?
Oh, well, actually, the day that she fired me,
Luckily,
she
which is a blessing in disguise, because
which
she
it
sounds.
really was, and to if I can be completely
You
upfront and
can.
transparent,
You can.
I believe that the reason I was let go that day was because I let her know in a I don't think I was rude at all. I think she
At
took
this
it in
point,
a
it
rude.
doesn't matter. She's an ass, so she's gonna take
I
it like
think
an ass. Yeah.
I think when the reason I was let go that day was because I made it clear to her that I would survive without her, and that she did
Good.
not own me, and that I was not this disabled, helpless little massage therapist. What am I going to do? That I was still an independent, strong woman, and I was not going to allow her to manipulate me in a way that would make her get ahead, because that's ultimately what has happened the entirety of my disability with her. Is she's manipulated with using what I am dealing with as a way to get ahead. She has specifically said, like, I'll just briefly say this: I need you, when I get you out of here, I need to get you out of here so I can start making more money. Okay, when she's saying stuff like that to me and throwing that whole, like, I need you to get your books filled because you're not making me any money, and I could get somebody in here who will work more. So you just let me know when you're done working here, and I'll get somebody else in here. And yet at the same time, I'm saying, why are you not sending people to me so I can work more?
Well, see, the idea there was that when people are like this, she wanted you to quit. Was the
She
entire
wanted me to quit.
that
Exactly.
was the whole concept of this.
Yes, for
And
months, Aaron. For months she
well,
said stuff
probably, and
like this.
the other thing, well, it sounds like, and you know what? Before you lost your vision, the other truth that's hiding here, not too far off in the horizon, is she was probably manipulating you before you became blind. It just became noticeable once you had a disability.
This is true. Yes, because it was a different kind of manipulation at that
But
point.
still, that's how it works. And then these
Yes.
things are more noticeable once we become blind, and once we're in the community, then we start to notice. Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
person was a really horrible employer that probably in hindsight you should have never worked for her in the first place,
Totally.
but who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
But
yeah,
the day that she fired me, I remember I specifically said, I said, Company X, I said her name. I said, if you, because she had called me to talk to me about my schedule being empty. And I had confronted her back, and normally I wouldn't say something back to her. I said, why are you not sending people to me? I never would be that direct with her. And I said, I'm empty because you're not sending people to me. And she said, well, and there was some back and forth. And ultimately I presented something to her and I said, if you look at me and look at your company and I'm not an asset to your company, then please just let me know, because you're not going to hurt my feelings. And I think when I said
excellent,
those words,
excellent, outstanding. Yeah, I would have. Yeah, that's exactly the type of attitude that I have towards people, and that's exactly the type of thing that I would have said.
yep,
And I would have said, and then I would have paused, and I would have said, "Thank you for your interest. Thanks for having me. Don't contact me
right.
again. Don't
And
contact me
I
again," is what I would
didn't
have said.
want to be, and I didn't want to be the person to quit. I wanted her to own up to the fact that she did not want me there because she wanted me to quit, because then she doesn't look like she fired a disabled person. She doesn't have to deal with unemployment. She doesn't have to deal with people wondering, where I went or why did you let her go? Oh, well, she just quit. So there's all these things that she was wanting to put on me. And I thought, nope. So if you want to let me go, pretty much you can let me go. And she responded back, believe it or not, with a lot of cussing, which I don't know if I'm allowed to do on here.
Yeah, you can.
But
No, if you want, you can repeat it if you want.
Company X, I have to get it out. Company X says, you know what? I am going to let you go because I refuse to walk on fucking eggshells in my fucking business anymore. And I'm sick of you treating me like shit. That's what Company X said.
I would have said, you
And
know what I would have said? I would have said, okay, and just hung up.
I just was like, I said, no one's ever treated you like shit. And then at some point, I think I said, I hope you have a good day. I wasn't like rude or anything. I don't even know what I said, but she hung up on me
Well,
and
good.
then called me back about
What?
20 seconds. 20 seconds later, she called me back because I think the light bulb went ding. And she was like, wow, I probably shouldn't have hung up on her. And then said that she didn't mean to hang up on me and that she would talk to me later.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Dude, this woman is really. I mean, this woman is
It was
nuts.
so funny.
This
It
is
was
nuts.
so funny.
That's hysterical.
It was hysterical.
And these are the types of things in the blindness community that you just have to laugh it off.
I was so tickled because then she actually,
It's great. It's great material. It's great
yeah,
material.
it's great material, right? So I'm like, all right, some time goes by. I ended up returning the key because, of course, I'm respectful. I returned the key promptly the next day. And then I made sure that Company X was aware that I didn't want to have any interactions. So I blocked them on any type of social media. I made sure to make that my number was blocked on their end. I did everything to make sure that my energy and my spirit was in good space, because I now have left a toxic environment and I am going to be a lot better if I can keep all of that negativity away. So about a week after, apparently Company X had been trying to get a hold of me.
Of course,
I'm not
obviously
entirely
to cover their tracks, of course.
I'm sure. So they've been trying to get a hold of me, and now I get a call from Company X, and they tell me that it's irrelevant, but pretty much that they're going to go to an attorney and get a lawyer, because if I don't call them back, they know some information and they don't want to have to take it to a lawyer.
I should have said, right there, I would have just said, all right, well, let me go talk to my lawyer and you guys get back to me when you want. I would have just gone directly to a lawyer right then.
Well, and I think the issue with me is because I know that and people who know me, like people who really know me, oops, hold on.
No problem. It's fine.
I'm so
fine.
sorry.
No
my
problem.
Mother. People who really know me know that I'm a good person and that I don't do anything wrong. So when I got this voicemail, my thought was, okay, first of all, I know I didn't do anything wrong. So I'm just going to
Right, but
call them
even
back.
no, but see here. I mean, here's the even if you did do something wrong, when someone says the word lawyer, that means stop talking to them, is what it means. That means
Oh,
stop talking and get your own lawyer, and don't worry about calling them back. Get someone else to represent you to call their lawyer, and then they'll decide what happens from there. Yeah, you should. I guess the closest word for it is my advice,
yeah,
to which I'm not a lawyer, so I can't actually say the word counsel, but my advice is that, yeah, you should write a letter to an employment lawyer, and document this incident, because this could be really dangerous and really,
yeah,
really, really, really not good. Now, if Danny, if you don't want to do that, I completely respect that decision. I totally understand, but it sounds like it sounds like employment lawyers need to be made aware of this, and certainly, who the hell's in charge of what type of hierarchy do you massage therapists have out there?
I
Wait,
mean, we have like a Better Business Bureau,
okay,
and if
but
you're reported there, we have a
yeah,
problem.
okay. Well,
So
what I would without, I mean, if you don't do it, I completely understand, but I would say that this is for an employment lawyer to review this case, and to take this to for an employment lawyer to decide if this meets the grounds for filing a federal complaint, against this person.
yeah,
I would say, I mean, were you legally fired on paper?
I no, actually,
Okay, well
she
then that's a problem. Then you see,
and
then we have a problem. Then if you weren't legally fired on paper, then it's a little bit hard. Then we lose some traction. But
yeah,
that's going to cause but what I'm saying is, what I meant by hierarchy is other massage therapists, and certainly other blind people who live in your state. I'm not going to say it on the air, but who live in your
yeah.
state. I know where it is. Other blind people in your state need to be made aware of this person, and they just need to be made aware to maybe not work for her. Just saying.
Yeah, 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 no kidding. Seriously, no kidding. But I have high, there's a lot of stuff that I haven't mentioned, and it's not even pertaining to me. It's just what the company is doing in terms of what's illegal and what are violations.
Okay. Well,
This,
see, so I mean,
so
to me, you've already said the word illegal, which is a sign to me that you probably have already contacted a lawyer, and that a lawyer
um,
hopefully is involved,
yes.
right?
I have
Okay.
someone, yes, who works for Homeland Security and was going to be a lawyer that is working with me right now. And I'm trying again. I mentioned before, I don't want to get if it's some. I already know people who are going to follow through, and my thought is I don't want to have any of my energy sucked in
Right.
anymore. But I understand where you're coming from, because it would um, be from someone who went through what I went through versus the other people who didn't go through discrimination, you know, that way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm saying, this needs to be legal. This needs to be legally reported, which means that you need to obviously tell the employment lawyer, tell them the story, and report what the facts are, and then allow them to decide if it's worth filing a formal complaint, a legal complaint, and do so legally and safely and all of that, because this is ridiculous. And it's ridiculous because, as I was saying before we started the show, I was saying that a lot of blind people stereotypically work in this industry of massage therapy. So
Mm-hmm.
this sounds like that if this issue is not addressed in your state, this sounds like there is a potential for a blind person to be hurt by this person in your state. And that's really serious.
The only time at this point that a blind person could be affected by this business is if there was a blind person who did anything like facials or anything like that, because she has since then closed the massage practice down. So she's no longer even having a massage therapists there.
Okay, well, either way,
But either way, yes.
you have to make a note of this and make sure that she, obviously, I don't know, have it on file that this happened, obviously, at Better Business Bureau, or whoever is what I was saying by hierarchy is whoever is in charge of the licensing exam in your state for being a massage therapist, that person, a commissioner, whatever they call them in your industry,
Mhm.
that person at the top of that chain needs to be made aware that this occurred,
Sure.
and that the state licensing people need to be made aware of this person, because this is seriously dangerous, seriously not okay, seriously not
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
Very, very, very concerning. So, all right. Well, I mean, on a positive note,
Yes.
you did a great job in telling that story.
Yeah.
Sorry that happened to you.
Oh, it
And
is.
what you're going to find is, I will tell you. I'm not going to tell you my story. I'm not going to tell you what happened, but I faced also similar discrimination. Um, not in a massage parlor, but in some other, maybe it was some other business or some other office, or maybe in my past, I have something in my past that I don't share, where maybe I faced this type of discrimination too, very similar, toxic environment, toxic people type of thing. So guys, it can happen to anyone, men, women, sighted, blind, these types of things happen.
Yeah.
And the truth is that they are not reported farly near enough times. I think that this is a big, big, big problem, that this is
Yeah.
happening constantly and people are just too scared to speak up.
I
So,
will agree. I'm scared. Truthfully, if we're being honest, I am so scared. I'm scared of, you know what? I'm not scared. I'm I'm timid of disrupting my inner peace is what it is. I don't want to disrupt my inner peace because I fear, what I do fear in that sense is that after I report it, or if I, actually, follow through, and I also personally report it, that it comes back around to me. And now my life is hectic for however long it takes to
I mean,
resolve it.
it might, and you know what, and it might take a couple trips to a lawyer's office. It might take a couple sit down meetings. Might take a couple cups of coffee, a couple walks, to talk about it. But if it's a good employment lawyer, they would be able to counsel you and help to fill out the forms properly to get it resolved very quickly, legally and safely. And that's what needs to be done.
Yeah.
I would argue. Again, if you just want to move on, which is what I did when I faced profound discrimination, and I just had to go about my business, which is what most people end up doing anyway, I completely agree with you. Either way, it's right. If you want to pursue it, legally, I completely agree. If you want to just move on and let karma take her course, that also works. And that's also a
Yeah.
pretty bad punch too.
Well, because
So,
I'm just, my thought is, truthfully, there's so
mhm.
much stuff that is illegal. Okay, there are so many things that I can't even, like,
No,
can't go through them,
okay,
that
right. Now,
karma will
I and
catch
I,
up.
I understand, but now,
Yeah,
okay, now by you're using a word that we have to, we have to
I
clarify, and by
know.
we have to clarify. And by the way, everything that I'm saying is my opinion, and
Yes,
everything that Danny is saying is her opinion. So
yes,
so I don't know what the truth is. We're just giving out our opinions right now. This is and Aaron's opinion is not accusing anyone of anything. I am
yes.
simply allowing someone to report information, in a journalistic sense here. I'm just allowing you to tell your story. You use
Yeah.
the word illegal. Now, do you mean that there are things that would be classified under your state's code as criminal, as in criminal violation, or civil violation? Those are two
Um,
totally different things.
uh, criminal. Um,
In other words, violating criminal code.
yes.
Then I beg you to please report this issue. Then, if you're 100% sure that it's in violation of criminal code, then please report it to a lawyer. Definitely. Yeah, no, you should pursue it under that. If it was
Yeah.
civil, I would say you could let it slide. But if you're sure it's a violation of criminal code, then you could be liable. Actually, you could end up getting sucked back into this somehow. You should go to
My
a lawyer.
and let
Yeah.
me tell you why I'm also, this information that I know is from the other person who got fired, and she was fired because she interacts with me. So this person who is also going to report it, they are going to report it. And I know that they have told me, and I'm now in a situation where I don't want to report something that somebody had said to me, even though I do believe it to be true. So I
It is,
can't.
but here's the problem. You're gonna get, so you're gonna, my strongest advice is that you definitely need to speak to a lawyer. You
Yeah.
definitely do. No doubt in my mind. Now that unfortunately we've crossed the line. I was hoping we would just end today with me knowing that there were some civil issues, some craziness. But if there's violation of criminal code, you have no choice now. You have to.
Well, can I ask you a
Sure,
question and you can
sure.
tell
Oh,
me if
sure,
you
sure,
think
sure.
what you think it is? So
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. When I went to massage therapy school, I had to go through 9 months, whatever it was, of extensive, deep going into courses from, 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock at night for nine
Okay.
months. Okay. I had to go through 180 hours of massage therapy before I even got my license. Okay. I had to go through all these things. Is it illegal for somebody to get a certification that should require you to go through 6 months to 9 months of training? And instead of going through the extensive training and completing the 180 hours of whatever it is for certification you're getting, is it illegal to trade another service for a certification that day?
Mm.
I'll give you a facial if you give me a certification saying that I can do chiropractic.
Unbelievably illegal. Unbelievable.
That's
Unbelievable.
what I
Unbelievable.
thought.
Uh,
That's what I
I
thought.
mean, you know what? You know what? It really, this ass who fired you. She's lucky that she didn't hurt anybody physically, because it sounds like she's not very knowledgeable. So this is really bad, Danny.
Okay. Well,
This
I'm glad
is
I talked to you about it because now I think
yeah.
I'm going to push a little bit more
Yeah, no,
because,
you need to speak to the first lawyer that I would go to is you would go to an employment lawyer, but you would also explain in that meeting that you are 100% sure that criminal code under state X, I don't want to say the state,
mhm.
will be violated, and that this case needs to be referred, uh, very least to a criminal lawyer, and at the very least a civil judge needs to get involved, will end up getting involved. And I am concerned that if you do, my opinion is a pretty harsh one today, that if you don't do this, they can swing back, and then you could be you could be sitting in the wrong chair in the courtroom. So,
Yeah.
you have to be, you do have to be paranoid about that a little bit. So I
And
would.
I am truly am paranoid. And I think my paranoia is coming from the fact that I heard it from, so first party, my
Okay.
coworker who got fired, heard it directly
Here,
from
hearsay.
their mouth. Now I'm hearing it from them. So they heard it directly. Now they're telling me what they had in terms of
Okay.
conversation. So I'm still liable.
What I'm saying, yes, because actually, and that's very serious, because that information that other person said, that's called hearsay, and that's, legal studies, not trying to demean anything, but that's,
Yeah.
in Introduction to Law 101, hearsay. So you heard information on hearsay. Well, the fact that you said it on hearsay, that's very serious, because actually, that argument doesn't hold up. You have to bring forth your own information, or else you will not be able to tell a judge what that other person told you, because what they told you is hearsay. So
Okay.
you're about to get trapped. I mean, I'm not trying to scare you, but you're about to get, yeah, yeah. Go talk to lawyers. Go talk to lawyers. Seriously.
Yeah. No, and I have a lawyer that I'm working with, so
Well, good.
I will talk to her.
And explain explain the whole criminal code violation, because that's really dangerous. This is not good at all.
It is criminal, and I'm stuck in this web and I'm just trying to get out
Right.
of it.
So
So
okay, so the only way to get out is for you to hire a lawyer to fill out forms where you expose all of the information, and then they'll just let it go, and then you'll be done. Once you fill out the forms and give all the information, and it's dealt with by a judge, then it'll just then you'll be freed from it now. If you handle it the right way, nothing bad will happen. But if you wait for it to swing back, then you could be, I don't know. I don't know. I
So
would,
even if it is hearsay, I can say I need to report this because I heard from XYZ that this
right.
is what was going on and it needs to be looked into.
Yeah, and that you could be liable
Okay.
because you were never, technically, you said before that you were never fired on paper.
Yes, she wanted me. She said to me, she goes, I have exit papers for you because she wanted me to make sure that I couldn't work within a 20-mile radius of her. And and yeah. And I was like, I'm not signing that. You can't tell
Well,
me
good.
where.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, good. Well, you know what? Well, good. I don't want to be 30. I don't want to be 30 miles from this ass.
Yeah.
So,
I'm like, oh,
okay,
I'm
but
like,
you know,
believe me, I'm going to be as far
so
away as I can possibly get.
yeah. This is not Stanley. This is a very dangerous situation that we need to get a grip on this very, very quickly, and I mean within 12 hours. So I am going to be I'm going to be I'm going to be looking at I'm going to be as my podcast is a supportive friend in the podcasting world to you in our community here in the blind community, and I am going to ask you about this again to make sure that this is dealt with because you gotta save yourself here. Technically, if you were never fired on paper, that means that you're still employed by someone who's violating criminal code.
Oh my gosh, that scares the crap out of me. She did tell
Do you
me that she did actually talk when I did call her back, because I told you I called her back to tell her to ask her what she's talking about. And the reason that she had me call her was just so she could apologize for talking badly about me is actually why.
which actually goes against her now because if she has to apologize, she's admitting that she wronged you.
Yeah, she did apologize, and then she said that she wanted to make sure I wasn't going to slander her
Yeah,
business.
yeah. She's saying, I know I'm
So
doing illegal things, so don't hurt me in a courtroom. Yeah, oh my God, oh my God.
I'm sorry,
A,
Arian.
law,
I'm sorry so
a
much.
lawyer you've got to deal with this tomorrow. You really have got to deal with this tomorrow. We really have to get this under control because they can come after you.
Well,
And they
unfortunately enough, I'm actually seeing my old coworker, the one who was let go, also because she was associated with me tomorrow. So I will talk with her tomorrow because that would be a good place to start so I can see where she's at and where we're all kind of going in regards to this
Right, but
situation.
I'm saying what I'm saying, and I've said it enough.
Yeah.
I've made the point. What I'm saying is tomorrow
Yep.
one of the things you should do is physically go to a lawyer's office and report all of this information,
Yeah. Yeah.
or else you are criminally
I
liable.
could, I also, I don't even really need to, I mean, and I know it's just an opinion. I could just call the headquarters of the entire spa industry and report it truthfully. That would,
Well,
because
but
immediately,
that's not a lawyer. I mean, that's not really a lawyer though.
but a lawyer, are you saying, because you're saying I could get swept up in the midst of it if I don't
You
report
could
it to a
be
lawyer?
you could find yourself in a criminal investigation
Okay.
and being the subject of one,
Okay.
being the person
Yeah.
who gets
And
in
I'm not.
trouble.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
but
not. So,
legally you could. What I'm saying is that I know you aren't, but you legally could be.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
legally could be. So you have to be paranoid about this. So holy moly.
That's a
Well,
lot. Oof.
yeah, didn't mean to end it by scaring you and telling you that you're kind of participating in really,
Oh my gosh. Oh
yeah.
my God.
Well,
I didn't even think that like, because my thought is like, well, it wasn't directly said to me. I only know about it through blah, blah, but it's no different than if I knew that you killed somebody or that you knew somebody who killed somebody and you told me about it and then I didn't say anything about it.
right, but wouldn't that be wrong too?
That's what I'm saying. That's literally exactly what it is. It would be no different than you telling me, "Hey, I know a guy who killed this man," and then me knowing about it and not reporting it when he's missing and nobody knows who did it. It's wrong. And I
Right.
didn't even think about it from that perspective. So
Right.
I
It's
think
wrong
we
for
could
you.
do something.
It's wrong for you not to report this legally, and it's also you're going to end up getting in some sort of bigger mess if you don't personally report it. Even if this other friend reports it, the other lady, she gets her own lawyer, fine, she can go about her own business, but you have to protect yourself now. And I will tell you, I don't mean to scare you, I don't mean to continuously traumatize you in this episode, but anytime, or statistically a lot of times, when people with disabilities have faced judges, in a criminal sense, the judge has pushed a harsher sentence because you're disabled,
Why?
because the judges get angry and they feel that disabled people should know how to act in society. So this is really bad, and this is
Oh
really
my
not good. This is really not good.
Oh my God.
Oh Lord.
Oh my God.
Okay. Well, where are we going to end this?
I I
Is there any happy ending here that we can
there
resolve?
is there is a happy ending.
Good. Tell me, because the time where I am, it's I have to. So I have to tell you that I'm really impressed that you had the courage to come and talk to me about all of this.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry I scared you so much. I
No, I'm
only
glad you
I
talked to me
only
about
I
this.
only want you to be aware of it so that you know what to do moving forward, and so that you're aware that if someone does call you, you're aware that that's why. If you get some call from some lawyer or some official and they say, here's what's going on, that's why, because you didn't legally file it. So
Yeah.
um, well, is there something happy you can say to kind of
Yes.
wrap this up? Okay.
To wrap it up, since leaving, since being let go, fired, whatever, we have, me and my partner, we also, we have bought a house, which is great. And I am now doing massage from my house to make it more comfortable for me, so we don't need to worry about me leaving and people can come and see me. So there's a lot of positive energy here. I'm really blessed to be here and to be surrounded with the people that I have. And I just really appreciate you letting me come on here and at least giving me your opinion on what I should do, because it helps get my brain thinking in a way that I wasn't thinking before. So
Sure, sure. Yeah, you just have to think about that. You have to think about it from the way that it would be perceived in the legal community, and how an outsider would perceive all of this.
yes,
So it's
yes,
kind of, if it had been, I'll summarize it by saying, if it had only been civil stuff, you could walk away. But either way, you really shouldn't. But if it's just civil, it's less serious. But if you're 100% sure that it's criminal code, then that's where we start to get into the serious stuff that
yeah,
you don't want to be wrapped up in it. And
yeah,
yeah, and it's harder to get unwrapped, and it would be really hard to undo this mistake if something happened. So I would
yes.
say definitely go to your lawyer tomorrow and talk about all of that. Well, I must say, for
Yeah.
the first YouTube video that our channel has done in the year, this one's been action packed. So if someone has any questions for you, or if they want to, maybe, I don't know, after everything we said today, I don't think anyone wants to be a massage therapist. But if they
It's a great
did,
job.
oh, it is. I didn't know. It sounds like you end up getting in trouble and having lawyers around
You
you.
could get in trouble if you work for really weird people, but work for yourself. It's so much better.
So yeah, so cool. So if someone wants to be a massage therapist, and they're blind and they're watching this video and they watched all the way to this point, which is unlikely because they probably were too scared. But if they get all the way to the end and they still want to be a massage therapist, what should they do? And what are some reputable things to know, and some reputable companies to go to and talk to about it?
Honestly, just look in your state and find a school that specializes specifically in massage therapy. Don't go to a place that it has a bunch of trades for you to choose from. A single school that focuses on one trade is going to be your best bet. And I will say that what I really appreciate with being legally blind and doing massage therapy is knowing the body is so fantastic, because my hands feel so much that my eyes don't really need to see. So learning massage therapy is going to be a lot easier if you have somebody who is willing to let you touch them so you can get familiar with the body, the way the muscles work, and the way that they feel. So it's really great. It's such a great opportunity and a great career to have, being legally blind. And I couldn't ask for a better career. So.
Cool. If you want to,
you're like, you probably could. You're like, I would ask for a better career going through what I went through.
I think so. Then after they get the license, I think they should watch this video and just make sure they're working for someone normal, or maybe just work for themselves and,
yes.
and do it that way. And I'm sure there are obviously there are normal spas without the crazy attached to them, right? I mean, there's gotta be, right? Okay.
There has to be.
How did you I would have to wonder, how did you manage to end up in a crazy one?
I think I
kind of drawn to it, or you just,
you know what happened is I got, believe it or not, I got a gift certificate to go to Company X. And then that gift certificate.
She's evil. Oh, they're evil. They're just evil.
Yes.
Oh boy. Well, as a matter of fact, I would love to know what your opinions are from around the world in the blindness community. I'll, of course, be posting this video and its corresponding podcast in the group. I think we're going to get a lot of feedback from around the world on this one. If you want to get in touch with me and talk to me about this podcast, there is really the best way to do it would be to email aaronsopinion6@gmail.com. If you really like what you heard today and you want to be a patron on my Patreon page, I would certainly appreciate the support. If you want more information about my Patreon, just reach out and ask me, and I'll certainly give you the link. Okay, you have been listening to Aaron's Opinion, the podcast for blind people where we talk about crazy things and certainly some crazy massages. For better words, that's... no pun intended, it definitely might rub some people the wrong way in the community. All right. So I hope that you have better experiences from here moving forward. I hope this gets resolved. Don't hang up. And I'll tell you two more things after I end by saying, okay. Oh boy. Oh, let's see here. Okay. See, it's very funny, guys at home. Just because I turn on the camera, they have to they have to change the button layout slightly just because the camera is on. All right, you guys have heard enough. You've heard enough of me today. I think we're about to get. I think we might actually get, the camera might be going off here any second. Anyway, I don't know. I just saw a strange notification. All right, enough of this for today. I will be posting something else later today, so stay tuned on the channel. Have a good day today and a great day tomorrow.